Still on air. Så ska vi testa hur ljudet går ut mot de som sitter och väntar. Ska vi se. Nu. Så, då ska vi se. Då kanske vi behöver ha lite högre ljud på den. Så. Vad tycker du om det här ljudet? Nu ska vi se här. Det låter lite grynigt. Eller? Du hör ingenting? Nu gör du det. Ja. Ja, bra. Men det låter inte grynigt. Det låter inte grynigt. Nej. Bra. Och vad tycker du? Är du nöjd med ljudnivån? Ja. Absolut. Det gör jag. Ja, det kan jag göra. Absolut. Då testar vi också den handhållna micken så att den har bra ljud. Och så att det känns som att det blir en bra ljudnivå både ut emot YouTube men också i lokalen för de som är här och lyssnar. Behöver inte bry er om ljudet i bakgrunden, det är bara jag som slänger batterier. Låter det här också bra? Vad tycker du själv? Ja, skönt. Bra. Sådär, välkomna. Welcome. Welcome to Go to 10. How many have been here before? 3 people. 4 people. 5 people. Yeah, of course. Of course you've been here. Well, my name is Michaela. I work here at Go to 10. Go to 10 is a co-working space. It's driven by the Internetstiftelsen. And Internetstiftelsen is a organization. Sorry, I'm hearing myself from YouTube. Internetstiftelsen is an organization that is funded by the domain names .se and .nu. They own them, so all of the proceeds from that funds these places, for instance. But it also funds research and education within everything about internet. So, and if you're interested in becoming members, it's free. It's free to use this space. It's free to be here. We often have people from the industry, from different kinds of industries, come here and work, and also students to come here and work, and you can socialize and network, and we have events, and you can listen to all kinds of interesting subjects. If you want to have a taste of what kind of events we have a YouTube channel. That's why we have a little bit of cameras and stuff here. So if you go to Go to 10 at YouTube, you can see the previous events that we had, and also this event. So I'm going to hand off to Alexei, who's a professor at Linköping University, and you know him, probably. So, there you go.
Okay, thank you, first of all, to Go to 10 that hosting us here today. And yeah, thank you everyone who came today. And of course, thank you, Eva, that you agreed to share your experience in entrepreneurship. Yeah. So welcome, Eva.
Yeah, thank you. Did you put it on? Do you hear me?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot. I'm so sorry.
Ingen fara. Hörs jag bättre nu?
Snart,
okej. Ja, nu. Gud vad konstigt. Jättekul. Okay, sorry, now I have to switch to English. How many English speaking people are here? Okay, so quite a few. Nice, cool that you found your way to this event here tonight. I'm very honored. And I have been thinking, my name is Eva Volmer. I am working in a startup called Dasuk right now. I'm the head of customer success. And I am here today not only to talk about my time at Dasuk, but also a little bit more personal on my entrepreneurship journey. And I will be talking a little bit about how I found myself become aware of entrepreneurship and got into that. And I will also talk a little bit about how I tried during my time at LiU to make LiU a little bit more sustainable. And then I will also talk a little bit more about LEAD, the business incubator that's right here in the building next to this one, how they help companies to become more ready for the world out there, and their trainee program. And then I will also be talking a little bit about the startup I'm working in right now, Dasuk. So I was thinking I will start with when I started studying, which I was quite shocked is nearly 10 years ago. And I started studying, do you still hear me? I started studying sustainable tourism development, and was quite involved in the student life, because I think it's very much fun, all of the different events that we have at Linköping University and all of the lunch lectures and everything we have. So I really recommend that if you want to learn a lot of new things, that you really use that opportunity where you have that, and to go to all of those events. And for me, it has been really life-changing, because for me, I have never really been, I never really knew what entrepreneurship really is before. I was at a lunch lecture with LiU Innovation. And we had, this was me and my friend from studies. We had a project during our bachelor's project in the bachelor thesis. And we got this lunch lecture from LiU Innovation about how you can turn your idea into reality. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Before I didn't really have the mindset. I kind of had the mindset that like, when I like faced some problems, I was always like, this is so annoying. Like, why are we still like, it's 2023. Why do we still have this problem? Why is no one solving it? But then when I like got into the contact with Leo Innovation, I started seeing that, if I always think that someone else should solve it, then if everyone thinks that, no one will solve the problems. So there I really, like, that really changed my mindset on how I saw problems. And then I started, instead of seeing the problems, I started seeing a lot of opportunities, how you could actually solve those kind of problems. So that is something that really changed my way of viewing this. And then it took until 2017 when I started my my masters. I started an international masters with a lot of internationals. And I also joined the student organization Navitas. Does anyone of you know Navitas? Yes? Nice, okay. Yeah, so that was me, 2017, when I joined the event committee. And so I was very into sustainability. And there I felt, okay, here are like a lot of people that think that way as well. But then it was until Christmas that I had some friends, exchange students, who went back to their home countries and who didn't get rid of their stuff, the furniture that they had bought for the exchange semester. So me and my friends, we discussed this and we were like, okay, but like, wouldn't it be possible to do something about that? And that is how like the idea of Leo Student Secondhand came. So the problem is that, which we saw there during Christmas, which is even worse during summer, because in June all the students graduate and they want to get rid of this furniture, but the new students come first in September. So until then, a lot of furniture is thrown away because there's this big gap in the summer months. And we in Sweden, I don't know if you know that, but we like use we use resources as if we have 4 planets. We are like way out of the boundaries of what is like good for us. So that was where like it first came to me that we should do something about it. And then I was like discussing with my friends, okay, what would you need in order to solve this problem? So we're like, okay, we need a place to store the furniture, obviously. That's the big problem. Then, of course, you need people to work there, to be there when like other people want to pick up the furniture or buy it. And the best part would be a web shop, because obviously, or I don't know what you have, what experience you have of secondhand shopping, but I can think it's quite overwhelming when you get into a like secondhand store and like there's a lot of stuff. If you don't know exactly what you want, you can get quite overwhelmed. So there was like, okay, it would be good with some sort of web shop. So the first part for me was this part with we need people to work there. Obviously, I was part of Navitas. It was a big organization, so I was like, okay, we can probably find some people who can help me with that and who want to do this together with me. And I wish I could say it was very easy, but to be honest, the feedback that I got, or like when I started talking with some others, was that, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea, but we don't have the time for that. And I got really frustrated because I was thinking like, okay, but like this is the student organization that works with sustainability. We all want to make a difference. Why is no one like with me in this? And here is the next lesson that I learned. If you want to get things done, especially those things that don't exist yet, you cannot lose hope so easily. You really have to be patient, and you have to be stubborn, and you also have to be creative and think of new solutions. How can you find other ways to get what you want to achieve? So when the board said that, like, yeah, sounds like a great idea, but we cannot help you with that, I was like, okay, then I will apply for the next board and I will do it myself. And that's what I did. So I became the head of the network committee in Navitas in 1819. And I recruited a group twice as big as the ones before, so that I had a part that could do what we used to do, and then part that could work on this new project where I wanted to start up the LiU student secondhand. But we still had the missing piece, the premises, the shop. Where could we store the furniture? So I was talking with the sustainability manager at LiU. She couldn't help me. We actually had a meeting with IKEA. They were quite fond of the idea, but they had a lot of restrictions. So that didn't really work either, and they were like far away and like Tornby and all of that. So that was kind of like on hold. But then I also noticed that, okay, now that I had this new mindset of like solving problems, suddenly I had a lot of ideas, a lot of things that I wanted to do, and I didn't really have the time. But at the same time, I saw that there were people out there who want to do something, they want to make a change, but they don't maybe have the ideas of like what can they do. So that's when I started thinking that, okay, I have to start a step before. Instead of like trying to do all of these projects myself, maybe I can create a place where people can find each other. People who have ideas can find people who have time to invest, and they can together start these projects. So that's when I started the Navitas platform, which was this meeting place for people to find other people to start projects together. So we focused instead on that. But then, halfway through the semester, this guy approached me. And he is called Micke, and he was working with basically what I wanted to do, but for employees at LiU. So they have a second hand for office furniture for the professors and researchers. And he came to me and he said, hey, I heard you want to start a second hand. I have a room that you can use. So suddenly I was there with the missing piece, right across from Korallen in A building in the basement there. Has anyone been there, by the way? Yeah? A couple. The others, you should go there. So he had like the perfect place, and he was very positive. Such a good person for like these, I don't know, how do you say, eldsjäl? Yeah, exactly, like passionate for that. And he was very like, he was encouraging me to like do this. And this is the next part that I want you to remember. Don't be afraid to talk about your ideas. If you have ideas, there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there who are afraid to talk about their ideas. But to be honest, there's a lot of good ideas out there. The real scarcity is in the people who turn those ideas into reality, the doers. That's the scarcity, and you can do so much more together. So if you don't talk about your ideas, you will maybe not find a partner in crime, or as you will not find the missing puzzle piece. Because he was someone that, because I talked with the sustainability manager at LiU, and she talked with him. So it was because I was talking about my idea that someone then was like, oh, by the way, I can help you with this. So my tip, don't be too protective of your idea, and don't be afraid to talk about it with other people. But then the problem was that like, okay, now half of the year of activity was over. So then we only had a couple of months. We were just about to like launch the platform that we had started, and we had the like environmental prizes ceremony and all of that. So we didn't really have much time to start this. So instead, I had to create some interdisciplinary group of people who wanted to write a project plan. And then we had to decide, okay, will we do this as part of the platform, like a project that's on the platform, or will we do this as part of a committee in Navitas? Will we start a new committee? And that itself was not either självklart. Säger man självklart? Obvious, thank you. So something that was for me like, okay, this is obviously contributing to sustainability. Why should this not be part of Navitas? Was something that actually was not obvious from the beginning. But then we decided it should be part of Navitas. So I became the project leader to start up this new LiU Student Secondhand. So I recruited the project group for LiU Student Secondhand. I needed people who can take care of the premises. Here's a picture of how it looked like. I think it's around 200 square meters in the basement of a building. And we needed someone, we wanted a web shop. The first web shop was on Lisam. You can imagine how awful it was. We had a girl who took care of the logo and all the visual appearance, who did all of that. We knew that transportation would be a problem for students. A lot of students only have bikes. So we bought a bike cart. We had a tricycle, but we also thought that we would create some transportation events so that we could rent a car and a trailer, and we could pick up furniture and then also deliver it to the people who wanted to buy it. And of course, we also had event manager, kind of, who would be responsible for our events so that we could launch it also. And then came the big day. We had to launch LiU Student Secondhand. And the most important part here is, how many of you have heard about minimum viable product? Yes? Good. I really recommend that for you who don't know it, it's that you shouldn't try to develop a full-fledged product, but you should instead try to produce or develop a minimum viable product, a product that solves the problem, but that doesn't have all the features that you want it to have. Because that way you can launch something and you can get feedback from the actual users, from the actual people who will use it, your customers, which you cannot get if you just develop parts of it and it's not working. So that's like a very big part, and that was also very big for us because Lisa. And I mean, we didn't really have much furniture. We didn't really we had a lot of okay, the policies, how does this work? We had to be sure that, okay, will it work the way we were thinking? But it's very difficult because it's so hypothetical. So for us, that was really the best thing, that we just launched it, and then we could, based on the feedback and based on the experience, we could develop it. So we had a big event. We had live music. We had swapping events. We had it was a Christmas crafting workshop, so it was a lot of fun and a lot of people came. And that is also something that entrepreneurship, you should always try to find people to do things with, because all of a sudden LiU Student Secondhand, which was my baby for such a long time, because I was really, I wanted to get this done, and I really believed that, oh, we can actually do this. And there were so many people who didn't believe in it, that we could do that. But then once I found my project group, all of a sudden it wasn't my baby anymore, it was our baby. And we put so much hard work and effort in it together that that day standing there, it was very emotional and very amazing to be able to share the joy also with all of the others and not being alone with it. So that was really amazing, and soon enough, we got a lot of attention as well. So we won a lot of prizes from LiU, the Miljöpris, Environmental Prize, Östergötlands Environmental Network gave us also a prize that we won. I think we also won a Leantech prize. So that was a lot of fun, because all of a sudden they were yes, of course, we knew that something like this should be here, and of course it should be here, which was not at all as it was before we had started it. But then the next critical part was handing it over, because all of you who have been in a student organization know that often it's you're working there for 1 year and then you hand over to the next generation. And me, having been part of Navitas for 3 years, I noticed that you lose a lot of knowledge in between when you change out the whole group. So that was a very critical part for a project like that was that young, But I was very happy that Anna, the one who was responsible for the events, she became the new project leader, which meant that she could take care. She knew all the discussions we already had, so the knowledge wasn't lost all the way. And she recruited a new group, and they developed Leo Student Secondhand. They made it better. Björn here, he and his friends, they developed a whole new website, an actual nice website. If you haven't been there, check it out. It's cool. leostudentsecondhand.se. And they also invested the money that we won from the prizes into a photo studio so that we could take nice pictures. I don't know if you saw the pictures here. It's very small, but it's like it looks a little bit like a bunker down there. So it wasn't that nice. So yeah, so they did that website. They also established a collaboration with Erikshjälpen, a secondhand here in the city, who then sold some of their stuff in our shop, but helped us in return with the transportation events. So they had a truck that we could use for those kind of events. So that was very cool. And with that being done, I was ready to leave my life at Leo, kind of, and to start the trainee program at LEAD, Entrepreneurs in Residence. Who of you have heard of LEAD? Okay, actually quite a lot. For you who don't know about LEAD, LEAD is the business incubator here in Linköping. I didn't really know what a business incubator was, but LEAD is owned by partly the university and partly the municipality of Linköping and Norrköping. And they also finance through them and also through Vinnova, I think. And the goal of LEAD is to help research from university to get out on the market, to be commercialized, but also to start new jobs here. Like if people start businesses here, the municipality will benefit from that. So that's obviously the goal, and Leo can help you with that. So anyone here who has a good idea, you can approach LEAD, and you can. They have business development programs, so you can be part of that. You can get coaching. So they have experienced business coaches who have experience from entrepreneurship experience themselves. And they will help you focus on the right thing during the right time. And they can also help you with funding and with finding customers, collaborators, all of that. And they will teach you the methods and the theory that they have seen works well in startups. And very proud here in Linköping, we actually have one of the best, especially when it comes to sustainability and deep tech, which is the focus of LEAD. But what LEAD then saw, why they started this trainee program, is that, okay, we have a problem, we have researchers, we want to get the research out on the market, but not all of the researchers want to also have a company, because that would mean that they can research less, and they have to take care of all of this, having a company, the entrepreneurship part, and not all of the researchers want that. So what they then thought is that, okay, but we can educate wannabe entrepreneurs, and we can teach them in our methods and our theory, and then they can use that and practice that on the cases from the researchers. So we match them together. We get these cases, or the research is verified by the market. We see, okay, does it fit the market, or how should they direct their feedback in order to better reach the market or fit the market. But also they get entrepreneurs that are have a better understanding of the theory and are skilled. And then the best part, which happened for Liam here, is that the match works well. They get along well, and the idea is mogen. Ripe, mature enough that you can actually start a business with it. So Liam and his the research team, they started a business, a company called Self-Ion, And they have bio-based membranes that can be used in hydrogen cells or redox flow cells. Those kind of things can be a game changer. So he is now the CEO working in Stockholm. They will, I think this year, start a production line of that. Really exciting. So that's really cool. That's like the trainee program they have. They also have a summer job where you can do market verification, but also if you would be interested, LEAD also has the boot up program. So if you have an idea, you can also be part of that. Or if you want to work in a startup, obviously they have a lot of member companies. And that is actually what makes LEAD such a cool environment, because in LEAD, you have all of these people who believe that they can change the world. It's really like standing on the edge of seeing the future, and it's right there. It's not in the future. We have nanotextile solutions. They make clothes that you can press a button and then they change the size of the clothes. We have Bioriperia. They can find out which cancer treatment is fitting this patient after just a couple of days, instead of how it is right now, a lot of months, nearly a year. So this can be life-changing for a lot of people. We also have Polar Light Technologies. They do the technique that can enable, the Google AR goggles, the big ones, the awkward ones that look really weird. They can, with their technique, they could enable so that you can have them in normal glasses. So that's also so cool. And then we have Ligna Energy. They do batteries from wood, principally. So that's also very cool that you can do batteries with that. Will also be a game changer there. So if you need, because sometimes being an entrepreneur, you get a lot of feedback. There's a lot of people out there who don't believe in what you're doing. They don't believe in the vision you have. But if you are at LEAD, you will not have that feeling, because everyone there is doing that and everyone is living that. And you get a lot of cheers from everyone. So that's really cool. And two of the people who also did that or are at LEAD are Dominic and Sajid here. They are the founders of Dazook. And they started Dazook. They are from India. They met first here in Linköping when they started their international masters in environmental management. And they wrote their master thesis together at a company outside of Linköping called BTT Plåt. And they did an energy audit for them. So the plant manager there, he was how should I become more energy efficient when I don't know where the energy is going? I just get a invoice at the end of the month stating that, okay, I have used this much amount of energy and I have to pay this much, but I don't know where the energy is going. So I don't know if that's good or if that's bad. If I have a water leakage, I can see water coming from the pipe, but if I have a leakage of energy, I don't know. I don't see that. And that was the spark that became Dazook. So these two became a part of LEAD. They were first part of LEO Innovation, but then they became a LEAD member company. And then, as for LEAD, you can also become a member if you're not. You don't have to start a company to become a member. You can also do that before. So they became a member of LEAD before they started the company. So they had to go through this business development program called Boot Up. And the Boot Up program is all about doing market verification, which means you have to call potential customers and you have to ask them, okay, do you actually have this problem that, for example, Rikard had? And how do you think that we could solve it? So before you get too attached to your specific solution, you have to get the feedback from the actual customers in order to build a solution that actually fits the market needs. And they did that. They found some other pilot customers, and they did the product development together with those customers. And then we had the product launch last year in February. So it's just 1 year now. And but from then, it's been mostly scaling. So finding more customers, building the brand, building the company, and also developing the product from the minimum viable product, something that can solve the problem, until like building more and more features. And still today, the first pitch that I heard from Dominic is still not what we have today. So there's still a long way, and that's good. But yeah, and today we are 8 employees, and we have around 50 customers. So this is the team. We're very international. It's a lot of fun, and we have a very good board. And this is Rickard, the guy who gave the spark of the idea. So he is now in our board of the company. And I am actually the latest member in the company. I started last November. So yeah, I'm the youngest there, or like not the youngest, but I haven't been there too long. Shortly, what we do, we have a plug-and-play solution that helps industries find their energy thieves and to do something about them. We focus on the least capital-intensive methods, and we do that. We put up sensors that look like that you easily can click on the cables. So you can just open them and click them on here, and then they will measure the energy that goes through the cable. And we put that on the different machines so that you then get all the information for the different machines. We normally compare it, it's like a smartwatch, but for your industry instead. So you can see your machines. And we visualize that on our web-based platform. That's very intuitive and very user-friendly, because we thought it was important that anyone should be able to see this and understand this, not only an energy advisor, for example. But then, because many people don't have time, or many industries, or many people don't have the knowledge, we also offer energy advice for those companies. And this is how it could look. So this, you can see the graphs, it's like a timeline. And then you can see the energy, the load of the machine, so the effective tag, the kilowatt. And you can see that there's different levels of the machine, so you can directly identify saving potentials. Here you can see that they have used the machines. You can see that they have not really maybe that efficient production, because they have some times where the machine is standing still. It's on, it's wasting energy, but it's not being used. And here you can see like even longer periods. But then here on the weekend, you can see that this day, it's still on, but not being used. So it's wasting around 20 kilowatt an hour. Whilst here, they turned it in a energy saving mode. And there you can see it's only 63 kilowatt hours, the same time period as here, while that is 270 kilowatt hours. So you can see there's big potential there. If you calculate that per year, just this one machine, one day, in this mode, it's 10,000 kilowatt hours a year, which is half of the consumption of one household for a whole year. And this is such basic things, like turning off your machines when you don't use them. You're really like, oh, why is this such a big thing? But it's, when you don't know about it, it's actually not as obvious. And the research has proven that there's a 25% energy or electricity saving in these in Swedish industries, but that 60 to 75%, 3 out of 4, are unsuccessful in saving the energy they can save. So if we are facing an energy crisis, this is where we can start. Here are some other examples from other customers. We have Laserkraft, one of our customers, who have identified leakage in their compressor, 140,000 kilowatt hours a year. As much as 7 households. Just one machine, one compressor. And then Gunnarstroad, they had one machine that was, they had a steering on it so that it would turn off specific times of the day. For example, during the night. But then they saw when it was connected to our system, oh, actually I can see it was like on, it was working in the night, even though like it was supposed to be off. So then they understood that, oh, okay, something is wrong here. They found the error and they changed it. And this has saved them 165,000 kilowatt hours a year. Around 8 households that can live for a whole year from that energy that they like wasted on one machine. And then you can start also adapting your machines to the industry's conditions. So there we have one customer here. They saved 200,000 kilowatt hours a year by just adapting the ventilation to the industry's condition. And this is actually something like often your like machines come in the settings that are made for the worst environment so that they can like, yeah, work well. But that doesn't mean that you need that setting. So adapting your machines actually is a very good way of reducing your energy consumption. So here, 10 households a year that they could save. And also they could lower their heating cost because their ventilation was going so much that all the warm heat that they produced to warm up the industry was just blown away into the air. So they could also save the heating costs. And then the last customer case I wanted to show is another one from Laserkraft. And this one is crazy. It's 2 laser machines where they have seen that, oh, we are not producing efficiently. We have this like in between these times that are like very high energy consumption. And so they wanted to concentrate their production so that they, once something is done, they take it out and they put in the new stuff quickly so that the machine is not in this standby time. And then they would turn it off if it's not being used. Or at least put it in like this lower state of energy saving mode. And they could save 520,000 kilowatt hours a year. 520,000 kilowatt hours a year, which is 26 households. That's a whole street of houses that can live for 1 year with the energy that they wasted with just 2 machines. So we are working, obviously, climate action. That's why we do what we do. And of course, we want to contribute to the goal 7, making energy, like doubling energy efficiency. And when we look at the market in Europe, if we just get 10% of that market, we could save 30 million tons of CO2. So there's quite big potential. And so if you want to make a difference, if you want to do something, work with entrepreneurship, I have here stated my key takeaways from my experience, which is the first, of course, don't wait for anyone else to solve the problems, but get that like mindset. It will also make your life so much better because you will not see negative things, problems, but you will see positive things like your the opportunities and the impact you can make, the change you can make in the world. Also, the next part, don't lose hope so easily. Stay in there, be stubborn, be patient. That's very big parts of being an entrepreneur, but also be creative and find other ways to get your idea out there. Don't be afraid to talk with other people because you never know who you will meet. What sort of resource they have. If it's their time, a partner in crime, you can do much more together, and it's much better because then you can also discuss things with someone else than yourself. And don't wait until it's perfect. Get it out there to get feedback, and don't be afraid of feedback. Feedback is a good thing. Of course, there are people who don't believe in you. That's something else. But getting feedback, understanding feedback, and standing over that critique part is an important way. So these are my takeaways. Thank you for listening. And I also put, so before there was Leo Innovation. Now it's Leo Innovation, which is towards researchers, and we have student innovation. So they are working with students. They are in Studenthuset, and they are like a good partner to, if you have ideas or something, you can talk with them. So I would recommend that highly if you have any ideas. That was all for me.
Good job.
Thank you.
Is my mic on? Should be on. Questions? Do anyone have any questions?
May I just ask a question? Somewhat. So first of all, thank you so much, Eva. It's your energy inspiring. I hope everyone, but me personally as well. And I just have my impressions from the whole day today. And today morning we had presentations from many who is now here. And it sounds in the beginning like not realistic, maybe for you, but for me it's almost the same presentation. And now in reality showing that the product's actually working. And it starts actually from maybe small student presentation and then discussion and then turn to a real project that actually contribute to sustainability. And we try on this our course also to have this angle of sustainability, to have input or contribution to sustainability goals. And all of you also go to this goals and discuss this. And I think it's actually could be reality. You see this, right? And you also see the entrepreneur, right? If you compare, because we had also visit from larger corporations, Siemens Energy, also about energy, also about sustainability, and you probably see the difference, right? Like large corporation and entrepreneur, right? It's energy of talking also. Yeah, so thank you so much, Eva. And yes, maybe you have questions. No question.
I don't think it's on. It's on. Yeah. You said that a lot of.
You need to put it right here.
Yeah. Okay, for live. Okay. Well, you said that a lot of entrepreneurs or people are afraid of talking about their ideas. What do you think is the biggest reason to that fear?
I think it's, and here I want just to state that if you have something that's like you could patent, then of course you should be careful what you're talking about, not be talking about too many details. But I think the main reason why people don't talk about it is because it has already became their baby, and they are like afraid that they get like bad feedback. And I can remember that even though I had contact with Lee Innovation before, and I was like thinking a lot in the ways that like you have to talk to people in order to verify that your idea is also what could meet the market, when like it was coming more into the, like when I had come very long in with Leo Student secondhand, I was also very afraid that, oh, okay, now we have to do like a survey to understand how do people think about this? Do people really have this problem or not? That I was a little bit like, oh, what if people don't think it's a good thing? Then like I have invested so much time and maybe it will not be worth it, or what will they think? So I think it's a fear that people will not agree on that this is something worth spending your time on, and that they have like critique or something like that.
And then if they would have an idea that they could patent, like how, because maybe they don't have time right at the moment to get into it to reality, but they still want to do it sometime. Like what advice would you give to them then?
So if you have something you like want to patent, then I would that of course is something like then like you would have to write an application, and I mean that costs money, of course. So then you have to decide, okay, do I want to keep it like secret? But that could also risk that if someone else has the same idea somewhere else and they write a patent, then theirs will be the first patent application if I don't write an application, and then they will get the patent and I will lose that. So that's of course something you have to think of. But if you sometimes you can't even patent all of your solutions, so sometimes you just keep it secret, like business secrets, or you have a black box, or like different kind of things. But if you have an idea like that, and also there, like you can still talk with the market, but you have to have more of a problem-based approach. What are the problems the people have, the potential customers, without talking about your solution? So you rather have you interview the customers. And that's also a big part that many companies that come to LEAD and are in this business development program that LEAD has, they think that, oh, but I have a patented, or like I have an idea, I want to apply for a patent, I cannot talk about this. But the difference here in market verification is that you are not talking about your solution that much, you are rather interviewing the potential customers about their problems and what solution, rather how do they want to get it solved, instead of the value of solving it, instead of the exact way of how to solve it. It was, was that the answer to your question? Good question.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I found it beyond inspiring, honestly. I like that little part when you were talking about, finding your kind of soulmates, your community, so to get things kind of started and going. I'm thinking, do you have any recommendations for somebody, let's say, somebody who wasn't that lucky in finding soulmates, who's a bit lonely and doesn't yet get this kind of strength, starting their own business? Perhaps they're just, haven't been that lucky, for example. So what would you say those people should do, or any advice or anything?
Yeah, good thing. Actually, now when you said that, I remembered that I was actually here at, it was not Go to 10 back then, but it was Creative. It was here that we started with the idea that we talked about, where the idea for the Leo Student Secondhand came from. So that's a little bit funny thinking of it now. But I think if you are alone, you don't have a partner in crime, especially then, I think trying to think about, okay, where can I find like-minded people? So one example could be Leo Student Innovation. They can help you find other people. I know that I have some other friends that have also been there, and they have found other people in there. Otherwise, Navitas as well. I found a lot of people there who could help me. But also LEAD, for example, there's also a lot of people there who who are working with these things. And even if you might not get a person that's working together with you, we had that as well, that some people were they saw that, oh, actually this project that I've been working on, I see it's not working out, or there's not it's failing in that way. So they found that, oh, but actually I learned a lot, and here's another company that needs help, and so they find each other there. I think as well, maybe Go to 10 or places like this also. So I think there's many different places where you can find those. But we also have, for example, or at LEAD, there's a matching event called Venture Arena. So if you want to become part of a startup or something, you could come there. They match you together to different companies based on what you're interested about. So I think there's different ways. I think you just had the what was it called, thesis fair today.
That's
that's
hours
also
ago, yes.
that's also ways how you can meet, for example, startups, especially in startups. If you want to get into a startup, that's what I did with Dasuk. I was working at LEAD at that time, and I was okay, I knew that because I was part of the, I was the project leader for the business development program that we have there. But I was like, okay, that's not what I want to do. I came to Lead because I wanted to work with entrepreneurship. I don't want to teach it to other people. So that's when I was thinking about, okay, there's other people, for example, then I thought about Dasuk. I always liked them. And then they had a lot of other people who started working there who were like very amazing. So I was like, that's actually a cool company, and like those are cool people. I want to work with them. So I think for startups, it's very appreciated finding like key resources for the startup, because it's very like difficult for startups to reach out to students or in general to people. So if you are interested, just contact Lead and like come there, hang out. We have afterworks sometimes, and then you can get to know the different companies.
Thank you so much. Just one last question. I was thinking also about, like becoming an entrepreneur, kind of businessy person. Would you, in your own opinion, would you say it's something that you kind of can become under the right circumstances, I guess, or like influences, or you are born to be one? Like, I mean, is it like a skill set that you have, or you would acquire rather, in your own opinion?
In my own opinion, because I was not born as that, I would say I had no idea what entrepreneurship meant. No one in my family was anywhere close to being an entrepreneur. So for me, that was really, and I didn't have the mindset of an entrepreneur before I like got into all of that. So I think it's something you can become. I don't think it's something you're born with. And it's actually a lot about, being curious, I would say. Being curious and brave and like opportunistic, I would say.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? No? Crystal clear? All right, yeah, I'll pass it on.
So many interesting conceptions that you mentioned now, and I think we talked about that before, and when we asked the same question, what is either entrepreneurs are born or created for Siemens Energy, they said that they are looking for, they should be born, they should be there, so they create an entrepreneur. So very interesting to hear different perspectives. And also we mentioned several times, and you mentioned as well, this minimum viable product. It comes from this lean startup, right? From Eric Rice. So I think it's very interesting how you describe that. But maybe could you give more like example how it actually works? You mentioned the web page, but for example, with your product at the Zook, how it works in reality?
Yeah. So there's like different sorts of like, if you really go into the theory, and now I'm not 100% sure if I totally get it right, but there's two different sorts of minimum viable products. So there's one that's like when you just want to find out, okay, what is the need that the people have. So you want to have like some sort of mock-up, for example, just to show how are you thinking it will look like. You just have maybe a PowerPoint showing what you want to achieve or the problem you want to solve, to get feedback on that. Whilst then you have the more advanced minimum viable product, which is when you launch, for example, your product, that it should be, you should not try to invest too much time thinking for yourself in your own head. Oh, this is what the customer needs, this is what the customer needs, and this is what the customer needs, and I just need to develop that, and then I have a full product, and I will put that on the market, because then probably your time has run out, your money has run out, and it's very difficult for you to get your product out on the market. And also you will have the risk that you are developing a product that no one on the market actually wants. So here what I was talking about with the minimum viable product is that, so it should be minimum, it should have the features that solve the problem, the most important problem, and then it should be viable, so it should be able to work for itself. but it doesn't have all of the extra features. So if I talk about the Zook, we had and now I wasn't working there back then, but I can say that, for example, we had very basic, just the different graphs visualizing the energy data of the different machines. But then later on we have added, for example, an alarm function where you can set alarms so that you can get an alarm if someone has forgotten to turn off a machine, or if a machine is behaving in a weird way, for example. We have added temperature and humidity sensors, which are also like solving another problem. Now we are focusing on machine availability, so it's like we are adding on new features which we could have like put in the beginning before we've launched the product, but then we don't get any money in and we don't get any feedback from the customers either. The feedback that we get when the customers get the minimum viable product, or like the product that we've launched, is the feedback that can help us prioritize what we should work on in the future. So I don't know how much that was in the theory, but that's like how we have been working with a minimum viable product.
Thank you. It's very interesting and impressive. I like it so much. Yeah, so maybe someone have any questions so far? Okay, so then thank you so much, Eva.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you everyone for coming.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you. And I can stay here if anyone wants to like talk more.
Yeah.